Okay, Wednesday's practice. I thought it was a really good practice. Thought guys were very spirited, very up-tempo. Came back from yesterday's practice, came in this morning. Thought they prepared really well and had a good day.
Have you guys had any bad practices? Over the course of the season where you kind of come out here and weren't thrilled?
Sure. Yeah, we have bad areas of practice, I would say. And then obviously, we try to rally from that and finish practice strong.
Is there a point where the Silas Fred seems like he's fumbling the ball a bit, where maybe you give DJ Morgan or someone else a chance at that starting spot?
Sure. Yeah, we gave DJ the ball and then he fumbled too. So, unfortunately, all three guys have fumbled the ball, and so it's hard to bench a guy for another guy when you put that guy in and he fumbles as well.
In the past two seasons, 7 Pac-12 teams have ranked 103rd or worse in penalties, and only one total has been ranked in the top 50 in terms of penalty yards. Is there something else in this conference that kind of leads to that? Is it like more plays or maybe a different style of calling?
I don't think so. Obviously those type of numbers have to point to, that officials call games tighter in our conference. That doesn't mean that's bad or good. It just is what it is. Just like in a number of our games where we've had a lot of penalties, so has the opponent too. So it is what it is.
What have you seen out of that second corner position with Torrin and Josh?
Yeah, I think guys have played up and down. You got to give Josh a lot of credit. He hasn't been there very long, and so I think for the circumstances, Josh has done well.
Any decisions on what might happen at left tackle this week?
No, we feel really confident with both guys, as we talked about. Max played really well last week. This would be much more of a test this week. With their ability to rush with their two ends. Especially with Jordan on third down. So who's ever out there is going to be tested a lot more than they have in the last 2 weeks.
How are they different without, with LaMichael James gone and Barner kind of, has he moved into that role, or have they just kind of switched the way they do things?
No, I don't think there's any difference, from the running back position. DeAnthony still gets his touches in different ways. And Kenyon actually, if you go back to our game last year, Kenyon hurt us more than LaMichael did, and definitely more than DeAnthony did. I think DeAnthony had, 2 yards a carry or something like that. So Kenyon's done really well stepping in and taking those carries that LaMichael was getting.
How about the difference between Mariota and Thomas?
Yeah, I think he's faster. He's more elusive, when the play breaks down. And so it's pretty amazing. Usually, you got to replace a guy that leaves early, and you have some fall off that they've actually improved.
Today's practice had a very fast pace to it. How do you plan to carry that serious tone over to Saturday?
Well, I think that any time that you play up-tempo teams, you're trying to create practice that way, as we have the last 2 weeks. And we do that in general. We don't wait till we play those type of teams, so that hopefully it resembles the game as much as we can.
Coach, are you far enough into this week's preparation to know whether there's going to be any carryover from what happened last week? I mean, emotionally, do you know that your teams will respond the way you need them to?
Yeah, they don't have a choice. We'd get blown out of the stadium if we don't. This is, the best team in the country coming in, one that has really blown everybody out by halftime. Look no further than their first half scoring. I can't imagine there's another team anywhere close to what they've done in the first half. So we have to be ready, and I think our players are.
What is the thought process behind putting Matt under center in the 2-minute offense? Is that so he doesn't have to take his eye off the pass rush at all?
Yeah, it really, we've done both here before. Really, last year was the first time we did shotgun stuff in a no-huddle situation. Before, for years, it was always under center. And it does, give you a faster communication process because you're next to the line, and the ability to change plays easier, especially on the road.
Oregon's offense is averaging close to 54 points a game. They have so many different threats with DeAnthony and Marcus. Is there anybody specifically on defense that you think has to step up in order to help stop them?
Well, I think it'll be just like last year. You're going to have to make those tackles in space. We did a really good job through 3 quarters last year of doing that. You saw a lot of plays get out on the perimeter, and our outside backers and our DBs made a lot of really good tackles in that game. We're going to have to do the same again.
Any sense of 2 big games, Stanford and Arizona, no sacks? Any sense of what has to happen again to get those kind of and take away plays off?
Yeah, obviously as you look back to last week, no explosive plays on defense, no sacks, and then the only turnover we gave right back to them. Well, that's not very good when they run 90 plays. We need to make those critical plays. We had opportunities. The guy threw us the ball 3 times, 3 other times besides the interception. And so as you go back and you study Arizona, he has done that, in a lot of the games. And it's just like the Oregon game, and they made the plays when they were there, and then the game got lopsided. So we've got to make those plays when we have opportunity.
But aren't these kinds of offenses that you're seeing, at least the last couple of weeks, set up so that you can't sack the quarterback, that they've got him on the run so much that you're not going to be able to do that?
Well, I think, as you look at totals over the years, Oregon's up there. You can do it in both systems. Our sack totals for years have been at the top of the country as well. But it does, they're very different systems. They try to get rid of the ball really quick. Not a lot of play action. Balls out on the perimeter. And so it is hard to sack, bigger splits with the line. But you still, even if you're not sacking, you got to get there to create errant throws.
Robert said yesterday that the penalties are a sense of too much pride that they have, and obviously if Oregon hears that, they're going to keep coming out for this guy. So how do you convince them to walk away?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time on it. It's not a street fight; it's a game, and there's rules within it. And so a lot of them have the mentality where they're trained to protect their brother, and unfortunately, that's cost us in a lot of these situations. Where we get retaliation off of something that happened to somebody else, and like what usually happens in football, the second person gets caught.
Last one. Just what do you think of Oregon's defense? Do you think it's an elite defense like their offense is considered?
I do. I think it gets lost in the numbers because, as you've heard me say before, I think the most important when you look at stats is average per play. Because some defenses get put out there a lot more than others, and theirs does because they score so fast. You start looking at average per play, they're one of the better ones in the country. And if they had a slower tempoed offense, you'd see a lot better stats.